There are things sitting quietly in your home right now, things you walk past every day, that are draining your focus, feeding your fear, and inviting chaos into your life, not because they're cursed, but because you are unconscious to their influence. I am Napoleon Hill, and what I discovered goes far beyond money or material success. I studied the most powerful minds of my time, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, and I found that success and failure begin not in circumstances, but in the unseen patterns we allow to dominate our thinking. In this video, we're not talking about superstition. We're talking about spiritual law, and how certain objects, yes, physical objects, become anchors for destructive forces, not because they're magical, but because they hold memory, they hold vibration, they hold belief. You'll learn why burning desire can't survive in a house full of regret, why definiteness of purpose collapses when your environment whispers doubt, why your faith weakens, not just through thought, but through what you choose to keep around you. I'll show you how autosuggestion works beyond affirmations, how even your furniture and keepsakes can reprogram your subconscious, for better or worse. And by the end of this video, you'll understand how to take back spiritual control over your space and your mind. This is about more than decluttering. It's about purifying the ground where your thoughts take root. The demons I warned you about were not fantasy. They were very real patterns that feed on unconsciousness. And once you see how they enter your life, you will never unsee it. Welcome to Napoleon's Limitless Code. Subscribe now and step into the truth. You were always the gatekeeper. Now it's time to close the door for good. There comes a moment, often in silence, when a man feels the faint flicker of his desire growing dim. He cannot explain it, only that the fire that once drove him now feels cold. And if he listens closely, he will hear that the cause is not the world outside him, but the unseen weight pressing in from the inside, and from the things he keeps too close. Burning desire, as I have written, is the starting point of all achievement. Without it, nothing begins. With it, all things bend. But desire cannot live in a house where the past is constantly resurrected. It cannot burn brightly in a place where shame is silently framed and placed on a shelf. There are objects in a man's home, letters, clothing, trinkets that appear innocent, yet they hum with the memory of who he used to be. A version of him ruled by doubt, driven by desperation, entangled in the lower appetites of the flesh. Desire, the kind that moves mountains, requires space to breathe. It thrives in an atmosphere of purpose. But when a man surrounds himself with relics of failure, with symbols of compromise, he unknowingly gives his power away. These things are not merely things, they are anchors. Every time his eyes rest upon them, his subconscious is whispered to, told that he is still that man, still lost, still broken, still chained to who he once were. I have seen men rise from nothing, propelled by a desire so clear it outshone every obstacle. But that same desire can be extinguished slowly, through sentimentality, through guilt, through the quiet presence of objects that were never meant to follow him into his future. If a thing does not remind you of your purpose, then it is standing in its way. Let it go. Let the fire breathe again. A scattered space speaks louder than words. It whispers hesitation. It echoes the silent struggle between who you were and who you say you want to become. Every item without a place, every drawer filled with what you might need someday, is a decision left unmade. And where decision is absent, so is direction. Discipline begins not with grand gestures, but with the smallest acts of clarity. The moment you decide, this belongs with me, and just as importantly, this does not. You begin to shape a world that aligns with your intention. A clear home reflects a clear mind, and a clear mind becomes fertile ground for purpose. You are always sending a signal, through thought, through emotion, through environment. The law responds to what you really believe, not what you casually wish for. And when your surroundings say, I don't know, that vibration is heard. The universe doesn't punish, it reflects. If your home feels confused, your results will match. But it only takes a shift. You pick something up, hold it in your hands, and ask, does this belong to the vision I am building? Does this support the version of me I am stepping into? If not, release it. Not with resentment, with finality. That small act is a declaration. I know who I am. I know what I'm here to create. Affirmation becomes real when it meets action. When you say, I live with purpose, and your space agrees with you, energy begins to move, opportunity begins to find you, life sharpens around your choices. Clarity is magnetic, and a home in order becomes a quiet prayer. I am ready. I am focused. I am walking by law, not by chance. There are things we keep not out of love, but out of fear. A gift from someone we never trusted. A purchase made when we were afraid of being judged. a souvenir from a time we barely survived. These objects may seem still, but their presence speaks. They hold the memory of fear, and fear, once welcomed even quietly, will begin to shape everything. You cannot hold faith in one hand and fear in the other. They are opposing currents. One lifts, the other pulls, and your life, without fail, will follow the dominant one. Faith is a discipline. It is not only a thought, it is a state of being, and your environment reflects whether you are living in it. When you surround yourself with items chosen in confidence, in joy, in strength, the law responds, the atmosphere shifts. But when your space holds the vibration of fear, fear of lack, fear of loss, fear of rejection, your mind stays on alert, your body contracts, and your future narrows. Affirmations lose their power when your surroundings contradict them. You can say, "I am free," but if you're still holding on to things that remind you of pain, that freedom won't feel real. This is not about being cold. It's about being clear. Clear about who you are now. Clear about what you allow into your space and spirit. The law is precise. What you keep close, you invite in. So bless the object, acknowledge the lesson it came with, and then release it. That small act is a loud signal. I choose faith over fear. I trust what's coming more than I fear what's past. I walk in alignment now. Your outer world will always mirror your inner one. Make space for what strengthens you. Let fear leave through the same door it entered. Every day, without speaking a word, your environment reminds you of who you believe you are. Not who you wish to be, who you believe you are. The wall you walk past, the photos you keep, the notes, the clothes, the way things are placed. These aren't just decorations. They are affirmations, silent ones, repeating themselves with every glance, every movement, every breath you take inside your home. Autosuggestion is not only what you say in the mirror, it's what you allow into your field of awareness. And the subconscious mind, obedient and always listening, does not filter truth from repetition. It simply accepts what it sees, hears, and feels most often. If your surroundings echo disorder, your mind mirrors that. If your space is cluttered with things tied to limitation, heartbreak, or mediocrity, those messages don't stay outside you, they settle inside. Over time, you forget that you placed them there, but they never forget to speak. Discipline in thought begins with discipline in space. When you choose what stays in your environment, you're choosing what speaks to your subconscious. You're choosing which beliefs to feed and which to starve. Speak silently through your surroundings. Place reminders of strength, of clarity, of joy. Let your space agree with your highest vision. When you say, "I am abundant," and your home reflects order, light, and purpose, that message deepens. The law of attraction responds not to forced declarations, but to aligned reality. So ask quietly, what is this item saying about me? And does it speak the truth I now choose to live by? Let your home become an ongoing suggestion of power, peace, and possibility. Then the mind follows. And then life does too. The subconscious never sleeps. It doesn't analyze or argue. It only records. Every word you hear, every image you take in, every object that surrounds you, it all enters quietly, like a steady drip of water shaping stone. And what enters repeatedly becomes law within. Old letters stored in a drawer, clothes from a time when you weren't treated with respect, books underlined with fear, lack, and resignation. These may seem harmless now, but they still speak. They whisper to the part of you that hasn't fully let go, and without realizing it, you live according to stories you never meant to keep. You may say, "I've moved on," but the question is, has your space moved with you? Discipline isn't only in thought, it's in what you allow to remain around you. Affirmations lose their force when your environment contradicts them. You cannot declare, "I am worthy of love," while keeping reminders of relationships that broke your spirit. You cannot affirm abundance while your shelves echo survival. The law responds to the dominant signal, and your signal includes more than your voice. It includes what you see every day, what you touch, what your subconscious silently records. To shift your life, you must shift what surrounds you. Walk through your space with calm honesty. Ask, does this reflect the self I'm stepping into, or the self I've already outgrown? When you remove what no longer matches your truth, you make space for new agreements. The subconscious will record that too. It will begin to believe, "I am safe now, I am powerful, I am free." You don't have to speak it loud, you just have to live in agreement with it. Then the inner world changes, and with it the outer will follow, without resistance. Persistence is not noise, it's not frantic effort or desperate motion. It is quiet, unwavering movement in the direction of your purpose. And for that kind of movement to last, your environment must hold you, not distract you, not pull at you, not drain your strength with constant reminders of what you've yet to heal or let go. You cannot be persistent when every room feels like resistance. When you wake up and see chaos, you begin your day already scattered. When your desk is cluttered with unfinished thoughts and half-lived decisions, the mind grows tired before it begins. Energy leaks in the background, and you wonder why focus feels like a battle. True persistence flows from discipline, and discipline is nurtured in a space that speaks peace, a space where every object has meaning, every surface has clarity, and every corner holds intention. Your home should be a reflection of your inner stance, calm, ordered, deliberate. That kind of space doesn't push you, it reminds you, it becomes a partner in your progress. Affirmations are not only words, they are also the decisions you make about what surrounds you. When your environment says you are focused, when it says you are moving forward, the law listens, and the universe brings you more of what you are already being. Guard your energy, the way you guard your vision. Let go of what pulls you into old habits, what steals your attention, what makes you doubt your direction. This is not about being perfect, it's about being aligned. Persistence becomes natural when the noise is cleared and the path is visible. You do not need to force momentum. You only need to protect the space where it grows. Then, step by step, without hesitation, you keep going until the result is undeniable. There is a subtle silence that settles over a space where old emotions have never been cleared. You feel it when you walk into a room and your breath shortens, your mind slows, your ideas don't quite come to life. This is not coincidence. It's the weight of stagnant energy, the kind that builds when objects become altars to pain rather than symbols of growth. Imagination is not born from pressure, it blossoms in openness. It needs light, space, and movement. And when your environment holds on to the past too tightly, it closes the windows of your mind. The memories may be yours, but they are not meant to trap you. Sentimental objects can comfort, but when tied to trauma or failure, they whisper stories you've already outgrown. Discipline is knowing when to release something, even if it once meant everything. Affirmation is trusting that you don't need to keep the thing in order to keep the lesson. When you say, "I create freely," your space must echo that. It must give your spirit room to stretch beyond what has already happened. The law responds to readiness. When you clear what clings to the old version of you, something extraordinary happens. The mind begins to wander again, not aimlessly, but with purpose. New visions appear. New ideas take root. Inspiration returns, not because it left, but because now it has somewhere to land. Let your space breathe. Let the energy shift. Create an atmosphere where the future feels welcome, where your imagination feels safe to speak. You are not discarding the past. You are making space for what the past was meant to prepare you for. Creativity will always find you, but only if it can find a way in. Some objects carry more than memory. They carry energy, intentions woven into them by the hands that gave them. A gift is never just a thing. It's an extension of the giver's state of mind. And when you accept it, knowingly or not, you receive what came with it. You may have something in your home right now, a necklace, a journal, a framed photograph, that was offered during a time of tension, resentment, or control. Perhaps it came from someone who smiled while silently competing with you, or from someone who claimed love but offered only manipulation. You held on to it because it felt polite, or because you thought it was harmless. But nothing is truly silent in your space. Objects can anchor you to people you've already outgrown. They keep the vibration alive, and if you continue to surround yourself with the remnants of unhealthy alliances, your path will feel heavier than it should. Discipline is knowing what strengthens your energy and what dilutes it. Affirmation is not just spoken, it's lived. When you say, "I welcome aligned relationships, but keep the physical echoes of disconnection," the signal becomes unclear. The law responds to clarity. Your environment should be a reflection of harmony. If something was given in love, and that love still blesses your life, keep it with gratitude. But if it ties you to a version of yourself that settled, stayed quiet, or felt small, release it. Not in anger, in power. Your inner circle isn't just made of people, it's made of what surrounds you. Let your space be a true alliance of support, faith, and vision. Let every item in your presence say, "I am honored, I am free, I am in right relationship with others and with myself." There is a current of power flowing through you at all times, deep, silent, and full of potential. It rises as desire, as creativity, as intuition. It is the same energy that creates life, sparks genius, and calls the soul to rise higher. But when your environment holds that energy captive, it cannot move, it stagnates, it waits, and you begin to feel blocked, restless, uncertain why nothing's shifting. Every object you keep carries a charge. Unused tools, forgotten clothes, dusty corners, these aren't just clutter. They are containers of unexpressed force, symbols of things once intended but never acted on, dreams half born, ideas left hanging, and all that still energy, if not released or redirected, begins to weigh on you, not just physically but spiritually. Energy must circulate. Discipline means creating space for movement, not just in thought, but in matter. When you let go of what no longer serves, when you open windows, sweep corners, and release the old, you tell the universe, I am ready for flow. Affirmation becomes transformation when it meets action. Say, I turn my desire into creation, and then prove it by preparing the space for that creation to rise. Make room at your desk. Make clarity on your shelves. Let your home match the intention of a life that's not stuck but evolving. Sexual energy can become purpose. Emotional fire can become vision, but not when trapped in a space that holds yesterday's weight. You do not need more time, you need more flow. And that begins with the courage to clear what no longer holds life. Your space is a mirror of your movement. Let it reflect upward. Let the energy rise, not forced, not chased, just released. And in that release, power finds its path. The space you live in is not separate from the life you create. Every drawer, every wall, every object around you is part of the conversation your mind is having with itself. When you clear what no longer supports your growth, you're not just tidying up, you're reclaiming authorship over your reality. You're making a quiet but powerful statement. I choose clarity. I choose faith. I choose purpose. The forces that hold us back are rarely loud. They live in the overlooked places, in the things we forget to question, in the energies we've grown used to. But once seen, they can no longer lead. And once released, they free the space for something higher to enter. So today, look at your home with new eyes. Walk slowly. Listen deeply. Ask yourself, does this belong to the version of me I am becoming? And if the answer is no, let it go with peace, not resistance, with gratitude, not guilt. Every time you do, you step further into alignment, further into your power, further into the life that's waiting for your full presence. Thank you for being here. If this message spoke to something in you, we invite you to like the video and subscribe to our channel, Napoleon's Limitless Code. Your journey inward is the beginning of everything outward. Until next time, keep your space clear, your mind steady, and your spirit awake.